Hey guys, Simon Trezellian here, and I want to thank everyone on my feed for supporting me with my videos yesterday. Quite remarkable. The first one hit like 50,000 likes, and 1,000 people joined me. So thank you for those, and thank you for the trust that you're showing in me to be able to present to you content that is going to be useful. So today, what I did find is that with some of the comments, there was quite a few comments that were talking about, well, where's the Epstein Files? This is just a distraction. It's a hell of a distraction just to take on an ongoing investigation into the Epstein Files. A lot of people on the left seem to think that this is going to be a gotcha moment for Donald Trump. I really don't see that. Donald Trump obviously knew Epstein, as did probably every financial person of note within New York. They were working around the same circles. Doesn't actually mean that all of the nefarious stuff that we found of Epstein doing with Epstein's Island is going to be the case as well. I had a really good deep dive into the whole Epstein thing, and as most people will know, I spent 8 years in anti-trafficking, rescuing children from sex predatory organizations all over the world. And there was something very different in the whole Epstein case, and it was something that was very institutional, let's put it that way. There was a system. There was definitely a system. There were definitely some form of guest list, if you want to call it that, or client list that was very different from his normal client list of financial people. The guy was a businessman first and foremost. He just so happened to be a predatory pervert as well. And you find predatory perverts in all aspects of society, not just the financial side. So the Epstein Files, so to speak, are essentially the investigative files that the feds are using, and I mean that very clearly. They are using them. Now, that means that this is an ongoing investigation. Ghislaine Maxwell, I believe, is now rolling over and giving information. When I first saw the videos of Epstein's body, I thought, he's got the wrong nose on. This is not him. This is actually a really, really good ruse. There was very little information from the coroner, and it had all of the markings from my point of view. And you've got to remember, I was involved in this, okay? So when I was in intelligence, I was an agent handler, and every now and then we had to get people out, and you would either fake their deaths or you would just make them disappear, give them a whole new identity in a whole new country sometimes, just so that they would be safe. But you continue to debrief them. That wasn't the end of the story. That was just the beginning of a new story. So the fact that he met his demise in the way that he did, clearly he was going down. There was just no doubt about that. So I feel that someone may have given him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and that someone somewhere knows where he is right now, and he's talking, and he's giving information, coerced to give information on some very bad people. And so is Ghislaine Maxwell. I think it's the only way that they can actually continue to live in this world. So the fact that the Epstein Files are not being released would indicate to me that it is still an ongoing investigation, and that's entirely reasonable. You don't give out the information halfway through an investigation, even though there is public interest. Of course there's public interest. But and I do feel that all of the people that are clamoring for the release of the Epstein Files are going to be very disappointed when they are actually released. And they're not going to be doing a gotcha on the people that they will like. I think that they're going to be seeing a lot of people in their evidence that are in their own camp, let's put it that way. I've spoken to some people that have been involved in this, and yeah, I think people will be fairly surprised at the depth and the breadth of this investigation. And this is something that I believe the current administration is actually holding as a sword of Damocles over a lot of people. Okay, so anyone that had any nounce would want to use this information outside of the public sphere. You know, you don't give all of your cards away. Of course you don't. So I feel that there's going to be a lot of pressure on a lot of people to do the right thing, to come to the party, and you're going to see a lot of people closing down as well. You know, a lot of people. It's funny how some people have gone out of public life all of a sudden, when you thought that they were going to be here for good. Valerie Jarrett, for instance, was one of those. The Obamas. Not much. You don't hear too much of them now. Everyone thought they were going to be around forever. But I think that, and of course the Clintons, I mean, it goes without saying. And Pizzagate isn't going away. That's still an ongoing investigation as well. And everyone knows that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think this goes across the bench. You're going to see just as many people, you know, that would be red, and the same as the ones that are blue. Okay, so sexual preference doesn't stop at political parties. Much as everyone would like to think that their side is the good side, yeah, this is two wings of the same bird, unfortunately. And politics corrupts. You just have to look at the bank accounts of politicians before they became a public servant and while they're in public servants. You know, unbelievable. Some of them make millions in corrupt deals, insider trading. You know, we know this and we put up with it. I don't know why, but I think there is going to be a lot more to this story. But yeah, people are going to be quite surprised when the outcome is eventually placed. It's going to be quite shattering for a lot of people. So this is Simon Chiselian. Thanks for liking, share, reposting. Do what you need to do, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye bye now.